We believe, and some of you might call us naive, that what France and Germany succeeded to do in Western Europe, that we can facilitate a geographical space in the Middle East, in the Caucasus, in the Black Sea, and the Balkans, where the free movement of people, ideas, goods is possible. Now, I do not deny that our neighbors are not in the same nature as those in Western Europe, and there are certainly challenges and difficulties. But we have a dream, and we have a dream that we want to pacify, to moderate, to stabilize, and transform our neighborhood into a predictable environment that I think Turks, Azeris, Georgians, Armenians, Iraqis, Iranians deserve the stability and the predictability that many Western Europeans have come to enjoy. Let me come then now to our no vote in the United Nations Security Council and also the Flotilla incident, which have now, I think, which capture the attention and imagination recently, particularly here in this city. The United Nations Security Council vote of Turkey's no vote is a direct result of a process that started almost a year ago between Brazil, Turkey, and the knowledge and support of the United States and our European allies. I was here with the Prime Minister in April, mid-April, when the nuclear summit took place in Washington, and when President Lula and Prime Minister Erdogan presented a paper to President Obama. It's now public knowledge, the letter that was sent by President Obama to President Lula and Prime Minister Erdogan, for those who do not know, encourages in detail a diplomatic track with Iran on the nuclear issue. And not only this letter, there was constant communication between the capitals, but to our dismay, on the 17th of May, when the deal was signed, the next day it was announced that the sanctions track would be, that the button was pushed for the sanctions track. We were confused and perplexed because we thought we were acting in line with the expectations and consultations we made with our allies. Then, of course, came the letter from the Vienna group, which refused to provide the 120 kilos of higher enriched uranium to Iran, and of course then the vote. But our fundamental difference with the United States is not about the objective to achieve. We equally, as the United States, do not want a nuclear Iran. We believe a nuclear Iran would force the region into a nuclear arms race and would be a huge waste of resources that the region could use to many other better causes. But we differ on the method of how to get there. Turkey continues to favor a diplomatic track, and I think the Tehran agreement announced on the 17th of May is a good confidence-building measure and takes close to 60% of Iran's low-enriched uranium to Turkey. What was encouraging, and sometimes it might even seem contradictory to many of you, that the speech made by Secretary of State of Hillary Clinton after the vote encouraged Brasilia and Turkey to continue with the diplomatic track. And since then, consultations and talks between our countries clearly indicate that there is a strong interest by our allies, the P5+1, that Turkey continues on a diplomatic track with the nuclear question. Make no mistake, Turkey is not claiming that Turkey has a magical stick and will solve the question wholly. We know that the Tehran agreement addresses a particular aspect of the nuclear question and that more needs to be done. But the Tehran agreement in itself says that the P5+1 is mandated to deal with the rest and the more gravitating issues, such as the continuation of producing uranium. Let me switch to the Flotilla incident. I think you've heard this morning from our chairman, Ömer Çelik, but I will reiterate that the flotilla attack in international waters is an illegal act. It resulted in the death of 8 of our citizens and 1 American citizen. Furkan Doğan, the American citizen, 19 years old, senior high school student in Kayseri, had 4 bullets in his head, 1 in his chest. The ballistic reports we got a couple of days ago indicate he was shot from 20 centimeters of distance. I'm an ex-military Air Force officer, and I have some understanding of security. This does not seem to be a defensive act. But, of course, there are numerous claims on all sides, and therefore we urge the international community, including the United States, to support us in the formation of an independent, impartial commission to investigate the events, as was suggested by the United Nations Secretary General. We are fully transparent that the investigation should extend into the identity of the NGO in question, how the ship was funded, whether there was government support in the formation of the flotilla. We are fully open for an investigation and transparent that the whole incident, from the beginning of how the flotilla was formed, who was on the ship, and how we got to the place where 8 of our citizens were killed. Unfortunately, the announcement of the Israeli government of a commission with 2 non-Israelis will not satisfy Turkey. Turkey demands an apology and an impartial, credible, independent commission to investigate the events. Let me conclude. We are aware that these are difficult times. We've been talking to congressmen from both sides of the House, the think tanks, the White House, the State Department. We understand the disappointment on the Iran nuclear issue on the American side. But what must be registered is that Turkey's no vote is not some sort of expression of religious solidarity or a regional getting together. There are genuine Turkish interests in seeing a diplomatic resolution to the nuclear issue. Turkey imports close to 20% of its natural gas from Iran. Turkey is a neighbor of Iran, trades with Iran. And Iran should be seen in the context of the overall neighborhood approach that I tried to outline at the beginning of my speech. Turkey and the United States will be able to overcome this. We've lived through 1st March of 2003. There was all the doom and gloom then as well that the relation was over. But we will, because it's both in the United States and Turkey's interest that our relationship maintains on a fast and solid tracking. But I think our American friends also need to recognize that Turkey is no longer the country of the 70s and 80s that was the Cold War satellite state and was compliant with every American request during those times. Turkey is now a regional power that has its own interests, and sometimes we might see that our interests and your interests may not converge. But I think there's enough smart people on both sides to make this relationship workable and identify the areas where we can work together. Thank you.